On Larry King Now, my conversation with the one and only Laura Linney.
If I read a script and I start working on it involuntarily, if I can't help myself, if it somehow stimulates my imagination, or I start making decisions or look at choices or see what's happening, then I have to pay attention to it. If I read it and I don't click into it somehow, then it's usually not the right project for me.
All of you big stars are now regulars on the Netflix and the Amazons.
Yeah, it's the internet. It's what the internet has done to the world. You know, it's shaken it up and turned it upside down, and television has a whole new arena, a whole new context because of it.
Most difficult role you ever played?
Probably Abigail Adams. Probably. Just because of the scope of it and the size.
It's a woman you'd have liked to have known.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Plus, who would you trade places with for a day?
Melania.
You want to be married to Donald
Just for one day. Just for one day.
To see
Just
what?
for one day. Just to see.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Today's special guest is the acting great Laura Linney. I love her. Throughout her remarkable career, Laura has won 4 Emmys, 2 Golden Globes, and has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards and 4 Tonys. Her acclaimed body of work includes films like The Savages, Mystic River, Kinsey, and more recently, Sully. On the stage, we've seen the Manhattan Native in The Crucible, Sight Unseen, and Time Stands Still. Laura's newest project is the Netflix crime drama Ozark, which has just been renewed for a 2nd season. Thank you for coming.
It is a pleasure to be here.
My pleasure. Ozark has emerged as one of the most popular scripted shows. Ozark is in Arkansas.
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, at the border.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know, it gets confusing.
And Jason Bateman is your husband.
Yes, yes.
What is it about?
It's a series that...
Not a comedy.
It's not a comedy. It's a series that portrays a family who finds themselves in a precarious situation in that my husband, Jason Bateman, is a money launderer for a top drug cartel. And he gets caught. Their danger is a little too close, and we have to make a very quick relocation from Chicago to the Lake of the Ozarks and reestablish ourselves there and then launder an awful lot of money very quickly.
You launder while in Missouri?
Yes.
No,
which has a set of challenges.
It's been called dark. It's been compared to Breaking Bad. Fair?
I think in the genre, certainly fair. You know, the way that it was fair that Breaking Bad was compared to Weeds. You know, I think there's always a generation before that we're in the legacy of and happy to be there.
I'm told you weren't sold on it initially.
I wanted to work with Jason, and the scripts that Bill Dubuque wrote originally were wonderful. My character Wendy was a little underdeveloped and needed just a wider range, and fortunately everybody bent over backwards to make sure that would happen, and I'm in the middle of a fantastic situation there.
You like Wendy?
I do. I like her a lot.
Do you have to like her?
No, you don't have to like her. There are things I don't like about her, but there are things I like playing. You know, she's complicated, and the thing that I found the most exciting was that here is a family, and they really don't know each other. These are 4 individuals who function well together, but don't know each other. And as they are put in a dangerous situation, and as their lifestyle and relationships are threatened, and they are relocated to a new place, as happens when you're threatened, other characteristics come through that they don't know they have, and they have resources they didn't realize they have. They have limitations they didn't realize they had. So there's a lot of interesting stuff to play there.
You wanted to work with Jason.
Yes.
How's it worked?
Pretty well.
We're so used to him in comedies.
Yes. And I had met Jason several times. We're sort of fond acquaintances, and I always suspected that there was a very wide range there. And I was very happy to hear that he was taking the risk to explore that. And fortunately, I was right. His range is enormous.
He's directed some episodes,
He's directed
too.
this. He's the executive producer. He's His hands are all over it, and we are the better for it.
You're a major actress. You do theater. What if this runs? I know it's streaming, right?
Yes, it drops. I love that I get to say, my show's dropped. You know.
What do you make of what television has done to your industry? All of you big stars are now regulars on the Netflix and the Amazons.
Yeah. It's the internet. It's what the internet has done to the world. You know, it's shaken it up and turned it upside down, and television has a whole new arena, a whole new context because of it, and film is still film, and you sort of can't get away from the form that it is and the joy that it comes from doing a story from beginning to end. But television there's a whole new road there that we can all explore.
When you had a career like you've had, do you have a say in, can you say in Ozark, I don't want to say these lines?
Well, I would certainly never bully myself or bully a situation like that, but I do, fortunately, this group of people wants to hear what I think, and I find that they understand that, you know, I will get the script from them, and it will be the blueprint, it will be the source material, and then I will do all sorts of work on my own, and then I will knit my work to theirs. So very rarely is it that I can't make those two compatible. But every once in a while there'll be a thought process or something that doesn't quite click, and more often than not, I can tell where something has been cut. And I can feel it on the page. I'll just bump. You'll be like, what's missing here? Something's missing here. Did you cut something here? And they'll be like, yeah, we cut 4 or 5 lines. I'm like, well, what did they say? Because I can feel that there's something missing. Yeah. So it's more like that than...
You grew up in it?
Well, I grew up in the theater, and my father was a playwright, so...
What was his name?
Romulus Linney.
He was successful?
He was. He was.
After the break, we'll take a look back at Laura's iconic career. Plus, can we see a return to the stage soon? That's next on Larry King Now. Stay with us. We're back with Laura Linney. She stars in Ozark. It's a runaway hit on Netflix, which is an incredible television service, which is probably the biggest now producer in movies.
I think so, and they're wonderful to work for.
Whether theater or film or television or whatever, what's the first thing you look for when you get a script? I
look to see if I start working on it before I've finished reading it. If I read a script and I start working on it involuntarily, if I can't help myself, if it somehow stimulates my imagination, or I start making decisions or look at choices or see what's happening, then I have to pay attention to it. If I read it and I don't click into it somehow, then it's usually not the right project for me.
But it's such a tenuous life. Have you, Henry Fonda told me once not to name drop.
Do it. Drop that name right here.
Whenever he doesn't have a script in front of him, he's nervous.
Sure. Because if your brain is comfortable, you know, within that context, if that's how it can help you organize your thoughts. It's a wonderful sort of meditation when you start to work on a script. It's a wonderful feeling. So I understand that.
What about Woody Allen movies where... Have you ever been in one?
I have not.
Okay. Where you only know the scenes
The sides. Yeah, you're only given the sides.
Because you don't know what's happening in other scenes.
You know, I think you have to know how to prep and prepare yourself so that you can go work in any situation. And the fun and the challenge is, how do I adjust and evolve working in areas that I might not be comfortable in. So you sort of learn quickly, or you try and learn quickly.
You like diversity?
I do, yeah, very much so.
Anyone you're dying to work with?
Oh, there are a ton of people. There are a ton of people. And then there are the people who I've already worked with who I want to work with again.
Like?
You know, Bill Condon, Liam Neeson, Clint. You know, there's so many
Clint is special, right? Because...
Clint is special. He loves film so much that there is such an enormous respect for the process. And he creates an environment where it's almost impossible to fail. I liken it to, do you remember those suitcases that you used to ride away from some dance school?
Yeah.
And they would come and there'd be shoe prints with numbers on them and you'd put them on the floor.
I remember that.
And then you'd learn how to do the waltz or the whatever. And Clint's a little like that. You go and he has somehow, with an invisible hand, created an amazing environment, and it's almost impossible not to take the steps that he wants you to take. But he makes you feel like it all comes from you, and you leave a better actor than when you arrived.
He's precise, too, isn't he?
He's precise, but he's very, like, go ahead, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And in doing that, he almost is able to focus you more.
What's it like when you see the finished product?
Well, I have a hard time watching myself in anything, so
Really?
For me, it's not.
Oh, that's right, cameras, you don't like
It's not pretty.
What don't you like?
It's just, I love watching everybody else. I just think, oh, I missed that. Is that how my voice sounds? Like most people when you watch yourself.
What's your favorite role?
See, that's impossible.
You've had no favorite.
It's impossible. It sort of turns into the experience that you had while making it. So the first Tales of the City will always be tremendously important. John Adams, I love John Adams. Kinsey, I loved Kinsey. The Savages, working with Phil Hoffman, you can count on me. I've been very, very lucky that I've had more experiences that I've loved than not.
Was Adams a tough shoot?
It was a great shoot. It was tough, but it was great.
She was amazing.
It was amazing. And that whole production was amazing. It was really, and while I was making it, I knew I don't think I'll ever see anything like this again. And I don't think I ever will see anything like that again. It was a massive effort, and every single department was headed by a level of talent that was just mind-boggling. The costumes, the production design, the prop master, the lighting.
Really?
Oh my God, it was really.
Who was John again?
Paul Giamatti.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Knew his father well, too.
Yes, yeah.
Commissioner of baseball.
Yes.
Was booked
President of Yale, yeah.
Was booked on my show.
Yeah.
The day he died.
Oh, dear.
He was supposed to be on a Monday, died on a Sunday. I asked him once, you left the presidency of Yale to be president of the National League. Why? And he said, because nobody sits in front of you.
Oh, funny. Oh, funny. Yeah.
Pretty smart.
Yeah.
I have to ask this. Have you run into Weinsteins along the way?
Oh, of course, we all have. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody has.
So
this is not,
why
for those
are
of
we
us
in this rage or
now,
surprise?
Well, that's a very good question for everyone to be asking themselves.
Did you ever think, I'm going to come forward and...
Well, we all did, in one way or another, but nobody seemed to care. Or nobody...
Really?
Oh, sure. I think everybody went to someone at one point. Went to their agent or went to...
It has to be power, right? It's not someone
or even just a friend in the business, a mentor, a friend. I mean, everybody went to someone and said... And the culture was such that it was not valued.
We're not talking about flirtation.
No, we're not talking about flirtation. We're talking abuse of power and inappropriate, crude behavior. Yeah,
Not an easy business. It's a great business.
But it's not just this business. I mean, it's every business. I mean, I think there's been this enormous, Harvey has now become an archetype. And, this was a long time coming for him.
It's probably in the insurance industry.
It's everywhere.
Hospitals.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in
Doctors.
Absolutely. It's in every single business. Our business seems to bought into the excuse of, well, this is just how it works here.
And it's the lure of people so wanting to be in it.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Laura Linney's a great guest. Next, biggest risks, best advice, and guilty pleasures. We play a game of If You Only Knew. I can tell she's frightened already. The Ozark star, Laura Linney, don't click away. We're back with the great Laura Linney. She's the star of Ozark along with Jason Bateman on Netflix, going into its second season. Theater still #1 to you?
Well, That used to be a very easy yes. It's a more tentative yes now.
Really?
I love film and television, much to my surprise. I've always been terribly camera shy, and still am, really. And but the more I do work on film, the more I respect the form, and the more I enjoy doing it. But theater is where I'm most comfortable.
Camera shy, but not audience shy.
Correct. Correct.
That don't make sense.
People are more friendly than technology. I know how to relate to a person. I find it more unnatural to relate to a camera. That's just me. I'd much rather look at you than look at a camera.
Wow.
You know, I'd much rather look at a person than try to communicate to you than to communicate to a camera.
Are you always then thinking of would you always want to do a play?
Yeah, I always want to do a play. Always, yeah. Yes.
Right.
And if I'm away from theater too long, I get very uncomfortable.
We play a little game of If You Only Knew.
Oh, boy.
It's not a courtroom. You do not have to answer them.
Okay, all right, good to know.
Celebrity childhood crush.
Errol Flynn. Not alive, unfortunately. That was a problem.
Not bad.
Problem, but Errol Flynn.
Secret talent.
Secret talent. I can.
We've had every kind of weird things here, from blowing bubble gum.
Yeah. I can. If I put a piece of popcorn here, I can pick it up with my tongue.
I'm not going to continue on that.
But it's true.
How did you discover that?
That's the real question, isn't it?
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Getting married.
Was it later?
My second marriage, yes. Yeah.
Something on your bucket list?
I want to go to the Seychelles Islands.
Show you'd love to guest star on?
Transparent.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
No way through it, but through it.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Don't go to drama school.
Guilty pleasure?
Swedish Fish.
I love them.
I love them.
They're great.
They're great.
The first bite.
Oh, it's so good. And if they're a little stale, or if they're really good.
Yeah, that's okay. Stale is good.
Like, where are they in their maturation process? Love them.
Whoever came up with that idea.
So good.
Swedish Fish, yes. Mm-hmm. Role you regret turning down?
None. Don't have one.
Dream co-star?
Liam Neeson.
You never work with him?
3 times I've worked with him, yeah.
What films?
Kinsey, The Other Man, and we did a play together. We were in The Crucible together. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's
divine, yeah.
He's become an action hero.
Nobody better.
Favorite co-star from a past film other than Liam?
Other than Liam, Phil Hoffman.
Most difficult role you ever played?
It depends on if you mean difficult as far as challenging because it was so good, or difficult because it was so bad and I had to make something decent out of it. I think those are the most challenging.
Probably the good.
But probably the good one.
Oh, you want to name a bad one?
No. Probably Abigail Adams. Probably. Just because of the scope of it and the size.
It's a woman you'd
of it.
like to have known.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Who would you trade places with for a day?
Melania.
You want to be married to Donald
Just for one day. Just for one day.
To see
Just
what?
for one day. Just to see.
Okay, Melania, what do you think of your husband?
Just to see. Just for a day.
Movie that never fails to make you laugh.
Blazing Saddles.
Me too.
Yeah.
And Young Frankenstein.
And Young Frankenstein,
Mel is
absolutely.
one of my great friends.
Yeah.
Person you would like to take to lunch?
Chris Jackson. There's an actor named Chris Jackson who was in Hamilton. I'd like to take him
He's
to
in
lunch.
Hamilton now?
He was. He played George Washington.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's
good.
spectacularly
I couldn't
talented.
understand it, though. The
You couldn't?
hip-hop language.
It wasn't for you?
You understood it?
I loved it.
I knew you'd love it. Tell me something people don't know about you.
I love roller coasters.
So does my son.
How about that?
Any kind? Upside down?
No, I prefer to go forward and fast.
In our final moments with the great Laura Linney, she'll answer your questions from social media. The show is Ozark. It's on Netflix. Stay with us on this edition of Larry King Now. All right, some social media questions.
Okay.
Kurt Stevens on the Larry King Now blog. People consider you a legend. When you hear that word, what does it mean to you? To me, it means old. Someone says, Larry, you're a legend.
Well,
You're not old.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
I hope it means that I've contributed something. And I hope it means that it's something that other people can use to their benefit in one way or another.
Billy D asks, do you feel famous? Has fame affected you at all?
I don't feel famous. I do feel well known, and I think there's a difference.
There is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be infamous.
Yeah, you can be and I'm not the sort of person who walks down the street and everyone knows who I am. I'm not that recognizable.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. I take the subway all the time. I live in New York the way most New Yorkers live, but I am well known. So I know that I'm recognized, but it's not. It's not intrusive.
Pushy.
No, and everybody's really. I feel like everyone's sort of my friend, which is nice.
Ezra Z8 on Twitter. What's been the most surprising feedback you've received in regards to Ozark?
I wouldn't say anything's been surprising. It's just been gratifying. People people are watching it, and people seem to be enjoying it, and that's very, very nice.
Jason R. on the Larry King Now blog. How did you get the voiceover role for the intro of Downton Abbey?
Downton Abbey. I was called and asked to be the voice of Masterpiece Classic and do the intros, which included Downton at the time. Actually, it was a few years before. And then Downton became such an enormous success that I've been somehow associated with that just to the minorest of minor ways.
Have you done cartoons?
I was in Arthur Christmas, which I loved, but that's the only animated thing I've done.
Jay Gailey on the Larry King Now blog. What was it like to work on the film Mystic River? One of my favorite all-time movies. It's also one of mine. The surprise of it, the writing, the directing.
Yeah. No, it was a wonderful experience, and that group of actors, that sublimely talented group of actors was, it was a great experience. And working with Sean was, The
Sean Penn scene, when he comes upon his dead daughter.
Yeah, no, I mean, just rips you in two.
How did he do that scream?
Well, I know. There are many people who are really good at what they do, and then there are a few who are touched. And he's one of them.
And Clint shot that scene when he takes it.
The camera pans all the way back. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Remy New York on Twitter. What was it like to work with Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Savages?
Well, it was one of the most satisfying experiences I've had, and one of the richest collaborations with an actor I've ever had.
Sad.
Very.
Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog. It feels like TV shows are almost on a par with films nowadays. Do you feel that way?
Well, they've certainly upped the game. Television has certainly expanded what it's capable of doing. They've invested more. They're allowing it to be a lot of it to be more experimental, particularly cinematography. As far as the cinematography is concerned, they're allowing stories to be told through a more visual way. So it has evolved in a very unexpected way, in a surprising way to many people.
One other thing, I've watched him on stage, I've interviewed him.
Yeah.
I watched him in movies. What makes Tom Hanks great?
Tom Hanks is a great actor. He's not given the credit that he deserves. Tom Hanks works very, very hard, and Tom is a very, very good actor. Not only you can be a smart person and a good actor, but he's sensitive to detail. He's very aware of material, what works, what doesn't. He's just inherently likable, which has got to be tough to live with.
Great
actually.
on stage, too.
Yeah, great. But it's got to be hard to be that well liked because it undercuts his talent. It undercuts, I feel, the credit that he deserves.
Of course, you enjoy seeing him.
Yeah, because you just drink him in and you feel
give him enough credit.
You feel comfortable and safe, and it looks so easy that he doesn't. I mean, he's been lauded and he's won awards and all that, but really, he's. People like to talk about his quality, and that just undercuts his skill, I find.
Thank you, doll.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Big thanks to my special guest, Laura Linney. If you haven't yet, be sure to watch the first season of Ozark. It's now available on Netflix. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.